Ever wondered why your heart races when that special someone walks into the room? Well, it's not just about the butterflies in your stomach or the blush on your cheeks. There's a whole lot more going on beneath the surface, and it's as fascinating as it is intriguing. Infatuation, often the first step towards love, is a powerful force that can send our minds and bodies into overdrive. It's a cocktail of chemicals and emotions, a potent mix that can make your heart pound, your palms sweat, and your mind race. From a physiological perspective, it's all about the hormones. Dopamine, oxytocin, and adrenaline are the main culprits. Dopamine, the feel-good hormone, gives you that rush of pleasure when you're around your crush. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, makes you feel emotionally connected, while adrenaline is responsible for that heart-pounding excitement. Now, let's talk psychology. Infatuation often leads to idealization, where you see your crush in a rosy light, disregarding any flaws. It's a form of positive bias, where your brain is wired to focus on the good and ignore the bad. Now, you might wonder how common these crushes are. According to studies, a whopping 85% of teenagers experience infatuation at least once by the age of 18. And it's not just a fleeting phase. Research shows that these teenage crushes can significantly impact behavior, influencing everything from academic performance to social interactions. But remember, infatuation is not a bad thing. It's a natural part of growing up, a rite of passage that can help us understand ourselves and others better. It's a journey of self-discovery, where we learn about our likes, dislikes, and what we seek in a partner. So, don't be alarmed if your heart races, your palms sweat, or your mind can't stop thinking about that special someone. It's all part of the intriguing world of infatuation, a world that's as captivating as it is complex. So, next time your heart skips a beat, remember, it's just your brain playing Cupid. Love, as they say, is a battlefield, but why do we teenagers often find ourselves on the front lines? Well, let's dive into it. Picture our teenage years as a time of intense growth and change, both physically and emotionally. It's like being in a constant state of metamorphosis. Now couple that with a surge of hormones, and what do you get? An emotional cocktail that makes us more susceptible to feelings of love and infatuation. At this age, our brains are still developing. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making, impulse control, and evaluating consequences, isn't fully matured until our mid-20s. This means that as teens, we're more likely to act on impulse, make decisions based on emotions, and take risks. And what's riskier and more emotional than love? Then there's the aspect of self-discovery. During our teenage years, we're on a quest to figure out who we are, what we value, and where we fit in. We're exploring our identities, and for many of us, love becomes a part of that exploration. It's a way to understand ourselves and others on a deeper level. But it's not all about biology and self-discovery. Society plays a role too. From a young age, we're fed a steady diet of fairy tales, romantic movies, and love songs, all painting a picture of love as the ultimate goal, the pinnacle of human experience. Is it any wonder then that we as teenagers are eager to experience this for ourselves? Let's not forget about peer pressure. When our friends start dating, it can feel like we're the only ones left out. Love becomes a rite of passage, a marker of adulthood, and we're eager to jump in, even if we're not fully ready. So you see, it's a mix of biology, self-exploration, societal expectations, and peer pressure that lands us smack dab in the middle of the battlefield of love. And it's a battle worth fighting, filled with lessons, growth, and beautiful moments. So if you're a teen in love, remember, you're not alone. You're just part of a worldwide army of love-struck soldiers. How many times have you heard the phrase, "You're too young to understand love"? Well, let's toss that phrase out the window for a moment and delve into the true struggles that 18-year-olds face in their love lives. You see, the battlefield of love is often more intense than we give it credit for. It's not all sunshine, rainbows, and heart emojis. It can be a whirlwind of emotions, societal pressures, and personal challenges. At 18, you're at the precipice of adulthood, juggling the expectations of society, family, and academia. You're expected to have a roadmap for your future, And sometimes, love appears like a detour sign on your carefully planned route. The societal pressures can be overwhelming. According to a study, about 3 out of every 4 teenagers feel pressured to be in a relationship. This pressure often stems from the portrayal of love in pop culture, social media, and even within our peer circles. It's as if being single is akin to having a rare, contagious disease. Then there's the emotional turmoil. At 18, your emotions can often feel like a roller coaster ride. One minute you're on cloud 9, and the next, you're plummeting into the abyss of heartache. A survey found that almost half of all teenagers have experienced a serious heartbreak by the time they reach 18. But amidst this struggle, there's also growth. Every heartbreak, every tear shed, each moment of confusion is a step towards understanding yourself better. It's a journey of self-discovery, of understanding your wants, needs, and boundaries. Yes, the struggle is real, but it's also a part of the journey. It's about learning to navigate the tumultuous seas of love, about growing and maturing, and most importantly, about discovering who you are as an individual. So, the struggle is real, but remember, every great love story has its challenges. Scene script. Who said love has to be all doom and gloom? Let's look at the humorous side of teenage love. Love, especially when we're 18, can be an absolute roller coaster. But amidst the thrills and spills, there's a lighter side that we often overlook. That side where we trip over our words or even our own feet, all in the name of love. Picture this: a guy, let's call him Jake, musters up the courage to ask his crush out. He rehearses his lines all night, but when the moment comes, he blurts out, "Will you marry me?" instead of, "Will you go out with me?" Talk about fast-forwarding a relationship, right? Or consider another scenario. A girl, let's name her Lily, decides to surprise her boyfriend on his birthday. She bakes a cake with "Happy Birthday, Love" written on it. But a little slip of the hand turns love into lobe. Now that's a birthday surprise he won't forget. Then there's the classic story of a boy writing a heartfelt love letter to his crush, only to accidentally put it in the wrong locker. Imagine the surprise of the locker owner, who has no clue who this secret admirer could be. And let's not forget the countless people who have sent a text full of lovey-dovey emojis and mushy words meant for their significant other, but it somehow ends up in a group chat. Now that's a fun story for the grandkids, isn't it? These are the moments that make love at 18 so endearing and so hilariously human. They are the stories we laugh about years later, the memories that make our cheeks flush and our hearts flutter. They remind us that love isn't just about grand gestures and heartache. It's about those little, funny, embarrassing moments that make us feel alive. Looking back, we realize that these stories aren't just about teenage love. They're about growing up, about learning, about embracing our imperfections. So, even if love makes a fool out of you, remember, it's all part of the fun. Ever wondered what's going on in your brain when you have a crush? Well, the truth is, your brain is running a marathon. A crush isn't just a flutter in your heart, but a complex process in your brain. When you have a crush, your brain releases a cocktail of chemicals, creating an exhilarating rush of emotions. The first of these is phenylethylamine, or PEA, which is responsible for that giddy, euphoric feeling you get when you see your crush. It's like your own personal cheerleader, getting you excited and making you feel invincible. Next up, we have dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter. It's responsible for that addictive feeling of happiness and pleasure. It's the same chemical that's released when we eat chocolate or win a video game. It's no wonder we can't get enough of our crushes. But what about that nervous, sweaty-palmed feeling? That's thanks to adrenaline. When you see your crush, your brain goes into fight or flight mode, releasing adrenaline into your system. So, if you've ever wondered why your heart races and your palms get sweaty when you're around your crush, it's not because you're out of shape, it's adrenaline doing its thing. And let's not forget about oxytocin, the cuddle hormone. This chemical is responsible for creating feelings of attachment and intimacy. It's the same hormone that's released when a mother bonds with her baby, or when you cuddle up with a loved one. So, when you feel like you want to be close to your crush, that's oxytocin working its magic. But the brain isn't just about chemicals. When you have a crush, certain areas of the brain light up. The ventral tegmental area, or VTA, and the caudate, parts of the brain's reward system, are activated. It's the same areas that light up when we eat our favorite food or win a prize. So having a crush is like winning the lottery, at least in your brain. So having a crush might seem like magic, but it's actually all in your head. And that's the science of crushes, a whirlwind of chemicals and brain activity that makes us feel on top of the world. Love is not just a feeling, it's a powerful force that can change us for the better. Love has been the subject of countless songs, poems, and stories throughout human history. But did you know that love can also have profound effects on our mental and emotional health? When we're in love, our brains release a cocktail of chemicals, including dopamine, oxytocin, and endorphins. This chemical concoction is responsible for the feelings of happiness, pleasure, and attachment we associate with love. But it's not just about feeling good. Research suggests that these love-induced hormones can also help reduce anxiety and stress. Oxytocin, often referred to as the love hormone, is released when we hug or kiss a loved one. This hormone not only strengthens social bonds, but also has a calming effect on the body, helping to reduce blood pressure and decrease stress levels. Love can also act as a kind of natural antidepressant. The dopamine released during the early stages of a relationship can boost your mood and make you feel more optimistic. This doesn't mean love is a cure-all for mental health issues, but it's certainly a beneficial factor that can contribute to overall well-being. Moreover, love can promote personal growth. Being in a loving relationship often pushes us to become better versions of ourselves. We strive to improve, to be kinder, more understanding, and more compassionate, not just for our partners, but for ourselves as well. Finally, love fosters a sense of belonging and security. Knowing that you have someone who cares for you and supports you can provide a significant boost to your self-esteem. It gives you a sense of value and worth that is crucial for maintaining good mental health. In conclusion, love is more than just a heart-fluttering sensation. It's a powerful transformative force that can improve our mental and emotional health in numerous ways. It can help us manage stress, boost our mood, encourage personal growth, and foster a sense of belonging. So, love might be a battlefield, but it's also a force for good. So we've laughed, we've cried, and we've learned a lot about love today. We dove headfirst into the thrilling waters of infatuation, and oh boy, wasn't it an exhilarating dive? We explored the tantalizing intrigue that is infatuation, the intense attraction that sweeps you off your feet and leaves you gasping for air. We laughed at its absurdities and marveled at its force, and let's not forget the sleepless nights, the daydreams, and the butterflies in our stomachs. Oh, the sweet, sweet torment of it all. Then we marched onto the battlefield of love, armored with our heart's deepest desires. We learned that love is not just a feeling, it's a war zone. It's a ceaseless struggle between fear and hope, between doubts and dreams. But we also learned that love is not just about winning, it's about fighting. It's about standing up for what you believe in, even when the odds are against you. We also acknowledged the struggle. The struggle. It's as real as the heart that beats in your chest. The struggle of unrequited love, the struggle of rejection, the struggle of heartbreak. But we also learned that struggle is not a sign of defeat. It's a sign of strength. It's a sign that you are alive, that you are human, that you are capable of feeling deeply. And then we lightened the mood a bit. We laughed at the lighter side of love, the goofy smiles, the clumsy moments, the awkward silences. We found humor in the most unexpected places, reminding us that love is not just about the tears and the heartache. It's also about the laughter, the joy, the fun. Love, after all, is a journey, not a destination. And what's a journey without a few laughs along the way? We then put on our lab coats and delved into the science of crushes. We discovered that crushes are not just figments of our imagination, they are rooted in biology. We learned that our brains are wired to feel attraction, to crave connection, to seek companionship. And we learned that having a crush is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of our humanity. Finally, We tapped into the power of love. We learned that love is not just a feeling, it's a force. It's a force that can move mountains, that can change the world. We learned that love is not just about the butterflies and the rainbows. It's about the courage, the resilience, the determination. It's about the ability to love in the face of adversity, to love in spite of the odds. Remember, whether you're in love, have a crush, or are just enjoying the single life, it's all part of the beautiful mess that is being a teenager.